The weekend is almost here. We're racing at Sha Tin on Sunday. Welcome to Racing to Win. And a bit like last week, there's more group racing, but this time at Spangle v Ka Ying Rising. California Spangle's in front of Healthy Happy. They are going to turn back time with California Spangle. Ka Ying Rising that he carried to win the Group 3 first up and jogs it. Now he tangles with Invincible Sage and he ran on by for Bowman. It's Invincible Sage. And it doesn't end with those three either. It's a terrific race, the Group 2 Premier Bowl. And to preview it all, joined in the studio by Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, three quality horses we just saw right there.
Absolutely, Mark. And he was really impressive last time out, considering the track conditions. Ka Ying Rising. He's actually one of 7 last winners. Zach Purton rides through his book of 9 on Sunday. But California Spangle, Invincible Sage is certainly going to give him a race. They're the Group 1 performers in it, but there's plenty down out of the handicap as well.
There are indeed. We've got a very special guest coming up on the show shortly too, Paul, but more focus on the Group 2 and what a great race it is. And any jackpots also?
Yeah, there is. There's a triple trio jackpot of 8 million, so that should get up to over the 13 million mark. Looks really good, this renewal of this race, doesn't it, with all these quality horses in there. One thing with Zach is I reckon he wouldn't have been too happy when he saw all his barrier draws of all those last start winners, because they've all drawn badly. They
have very, very wide draws indeed on a quality book of rides for Zach Purton. Meeting details, we have an earlier start because there is a Japanese simulcast coming in. 10 turf races on the B+2, and we kick off with the They're With You, Then, Now, Always. 1600 metre handicap, but the race we focus on, race number 7, the Group 2 Premier Bowl over the 1200 metres. California Spangle at the top of the book. Ka Ying Rising, David Hayes is going to join us shortly to look at his runners, in particular Ka Ying Rising and Harmony and Blessed in the feature. Invincible Sage goes from the 1000 to the 1200. Taj Dragon has the blinkers on. Encountered, he's moved stables. He's now with David Hall, who's added blinkers again and taken the tongue tie off. Flying Ace comes back in trip. He's a 5-time winner over the 1200. Beauty Waves, a Group 3 winner down the straight of the National Day Cup last start. We've got Helios Express having his first appearance since the Derby, but he did win the first 2 legs of the 4-year-old series last season. And Packing Treadmill has the Shadow Roll-Off and the Cheek Pieces on. Where do the big names land on the speed map, Paul?
Well, California Spangle, he's drawn low. He's going to go straight to the front. There's no questions about that. Harmony and Blessed will try and either get outside him or get him behind him. The race within the race for me is who's going to get outside those two, because Packing Treadmill and Ka Ying Rising will be the 2 vying for the position. Now, I think Ka Ying Rising will beat Packing Treadmill there, but if it does happen the other way, then Ka Ying Rising's in danger of being 3 wide.
That's the speed map. We move from the speed map to our very special guest on Racing to Win. David Hayes, welcome to the show and thank you for your time. Ka Ying Rising, how's he ahead of the Group 2 on Sunday?
Look, I think he's in probably similar form to first up. Probably a little bit more confident that he's more fit now with that run under his belt, a good break between runs. He did a sort of laid-back trial in between. So I'm pretty happy with the way he's heading towards this race.
Can we go back to last start and what a terrific performance it was? He seems to be a horse that every time you ask him a question, he answers with a yes.
Yes, even when, like this race here, there was heavy conditions, very heavy rain, carrying a massive weight, wide gate, and he won probably with as much authority as he was when he was winning in Class 4 and 3.
Had 135 pounds on his back, as you said, the big weight in this race. How concerned were you about the weight with the weather conditions the way they were going into this race?
I was a bit concerned. I know the market said he was a short price favourite and would win like he did, but gee, I think he had a lot against him, and a few people that I listened to that are good judges thought the same. So I was just relieved he got through that. He pulled up so well and really beat them pretty easily. So and he's had a lot of time to get over that run as well. So this is basically first up again.
There's the sectional times, 21.94 his third section, and Beauty Waves, the horse that was chasing him, David, came out and won a group race the start after that.
Yes, yeah, all the form around him suggests he's a very good horse, doesn't it?
It does indeed. You've sent him up to Chung Fa, which you do quite often. How important is it for a horse like Ka Ying Rising to have that Chung Fa option?
Oh, look, it just helps. I think he's a very good horse. You could train him anywhere, but Chung Fa suits him. He probably eats 10% more in that relaxed environment up there. And like you get the grass track all the time, and it's worked. So I just keep going back to what I do with him. He's barely lost a race. If it wasn't for that Wonder Bar, he'd be undefeated, wouldn't he? They were super races. And at that stage of his career, Wonder Bar had the millimetre edge on him. But I think Wonder Bar was a lot more mature at the same age as my horse. And I think our horse has now matured a lot and has got better and better, as Wonder Bar has. So it'll be interesting when they meet again.
It will indeed. They're both really nice up-and-coming horses in Hong Kong. But you do tangle not with Wunderbar this week. A very well-known group performer in California Spangle. Is your horse at the stage you want him at to undo California Spangle?
Yeah, look, I've got great respect for California Spangle. I think he's won 60 million Hong Kong dollars and an international Group 1 at the distance. So he's always a hard nut to crack. But I think I've got the right horse to do it. So looking forward to the clash.
It's going to be an outstanding clash, but it doesn't stop there for you, David. You also have Harmony and Blessed in the race. Harder for him this week, but can only do what he did last time, and that was win.
Yeah, look, he beat a good field. It was a quality Class 2 race, and he's amazing. He probably ran a career best at 8 last start, so he's in great form. He's a horse that makes his own luck, races on the pace. He's always been better at Happy Valley, but ran his career best at Sha Tin last start, so he'll be up on the pace like he always is. Last time he raced Ka Ying, he ran 4th. So I think he'll be in front for a long time. I'd be very surprised if he could beat Ka Ying, but could easily run a place.
Ka Ying Rising and Harmony and Blessed, your two runners in the Group 2 feature. You've got plenty in outside of them we'll talk about shortly, but the start of the season, it's been a very good one for the Hay stable.
Yeah, we've had a good start and let's hope it continues. I think I've got a good blend of Dad's Army horses, lovely old horses that are consistent and hard to beat, and a nice blend of new ones following through. So hopefully the season can continue.
And of the new ones, how important is it to have the boys that can help you out source those horses from Australia too, because they're flying down in Australia?
It really does help because they've got they've got lots of good horses to compare the young unraced ones to, and they've been pretty accurate. With Ruby Lot, Ka Ying Rising, Mastermind, Stella Swift. I've forgotten about 5 or 6, but they're really been nice, sending progressive, nice horses to me. So letting them go through the finishing score at Lindsay Park is a big advantage, I think.
You've got a big team in on Sunday. Paul and Tom are about to have a look at some of the runners with you, David.
Yeah, David, amazing run. I mean, both his runs here have been terrific this season. Is he a horse that's just taken a little bit of time?
Yeah, he needed gelding, and we waited too late at the end of last season to geld him, and the moment we've gelded him, he's turned into a pretty competitive, consistent horse. He's drawn wide every start. And we're forced to probably let him relax, but he has got a good turn of foot. And if they go at a decent tempo from this awkward gate again, I think he's going to run a very good race.
Yeah, it was an excellent run considering Jumbo Fortune has also come out, or Jumbo Legend rather, has come out of that and won a leader-dominated race. David Mastermind, he's got extra weight on his back, up to 135 this week, but he was dominant last time when he finally drew a gate.
Yes, and once again, he's drawn a bad gate again. But his trial from his win in between was probably the best he's ever gone, the trial at Chung Fa last Thursday. So I think if he gets a reasonable run in transit, he'll be a very hard nut to crack on the weekend. He's thriving. and I think he's a horse going places.
One of the other runners you've got here, Star Contact in race 5, you utilising Brittany Wong there with the £10 claim, comes down to £110. He's won at Sha Tin before, and he's another horse. Both his runs this season have been really good.
Yeah, look, that last run I was quite taken by the Pierre Ung horse. I think it's I Give. It was on the minimum and we were on top weight and drew wide. It worked on the first bend, and I think we kicked back 3 times to beat him, and he just got us on the line. I reckon with 110, if Brittany gets it right from barrier 10, he'll be a very hard horse to beat.
From one star to another, David Star Mac, he's £8 better off with Pray for Mer, who he meets here again. Where do you feel he's at the moment? Because he's yet to win here, but he ran some pretty good races last season and wasn't a bad effort considering his start last time out.
I think it's starting to come together. You know, when he ran those terrific races out of the handicap in the Classic Mile and the Classic Cup, I was hoping he might have been in high class races by now. But I think he will get there. And if things go right for him, he really sprinted up well at Chung Fa earlier in the week. His gallop was really good. So I'm hoping he can get there, but I just want to see him do it now.
Just before we let you go, David, it's such a big team in on Sunday. You're a bit more confident about one over the others, or you're happy with where they're all at?
I like probably 2. Ka Ying Rising, which is pretty obvious. And I think Mastermind is a horse going places. So I think Zach hopefully can work out the bad barrier. He often does on progressive good horses.
So 2 very, very good up-and-coming runners. David, thanks for joining us on Racing to Win, and all the best at Sha Tin on Sunday.
Thanks a lot.
Great to have that chat with David Hayes on Racing to Win. That's where we're going to pause. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with all of the best bets, the long shots, Paul's last run reminder, and a focus on the other runners in the Premier Bowl right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Out of the break, straight on to the last run reminders, Paul. And speaking of last run reminders, after Happy Valley on Wednesday night, our good friend Tom, could we see Beauty Destiny appear here in a show or 2?
You never know. He got hit the line nice enough, didn't he, Beauty Destiny? So maybe he's on the improve. He's learning.
When we can convince the producer to put in a Money Muncher section, he might make it in there.
Tom Wood's Money Muncher section. But Yi Chong Raider is definitely not a Money Muncher.
No, definitely. It was. He's only had the limited starts. Only had 1 start this season. This was it. Now, Super Legends absolutely walked these horses. It was a good ride by Alfred Chan there in front. And they went really slow, as you can see there. 1.49 seconds were slower than the that first 800 metres. Then when he comes to the outside, he finishes off really strongly. The winner had kicked from the front, but he was well clear of everything else, best of the rest. Now, he's drawn wide once again, so he's going to have to go back. But look, he looks like a winner waiting to happen. These 2 are well clear, and it was just Super Legends had stacked them up. So a really nice run from Yi Chong Raider. Expect a good run from him coming up on the weekend.
Member of the Jamie Richard stable, Vincent Ho to ride. Race 3, number 12, Yi Chong Raider is the last run reminder. Time to get back now to the Premier Bowl. We focused on the David Hayes runners prior to the break, Tom, but here is the previous winners, and Sight Success won it last year.
Yes, he did. Wellington, of course. Lucky Patch, Wishful Thinker turned up at any old price, and Seasons Bloom might have been a price there as well when he won a few years ago for Danny Shum. So won by numerous different horses, training, jockey combinations over the last few years.
It has indeed, but a man looking to go back-to-back in the race is Brenton Avdulla, and Nick spoke to Brenton before he headed to Australia for the Everest this weekend, but Brenton's thoughts on the chances of California Spangle.
Brenton Avdulla, it's an extremely exciting time of year this, and one horse that you're, I'm sure, looking forward to getting back on board is California Spangle this weekend. I mean, just reflecting on what was a super season last season, I mean, it was quite a partnership you and him established.
Yeah, he's been an amazing horse for me since I've been in Hong Kong, so we had, 2 Group 1 winners, Group 1 in Dubai. Yeah, he really put me on the map in Hong Kong, didn't he? So it's been a special horse, and hopefully we can see what he can do again this season.
It's amazing to think, Brenton, that this time last year he was winning his second Sha Tin trophy and he was very much a miler, but ever since things changed and reverted back to sprinting, he's certainly gone to another level, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, look, he's got a really good sprinting record, over that 12 and 1400. So, to be kicking off obviously with top weight there on the weekend with 135 in the 1200, it's going to be a big ask for him against some up-and-coming horses, but excited to get him back to the races.
His last couple of runs last season, I want to ask you about sort of both of them in sort of a summary. Beating on yielding ground on Champions Day, I'm not sure if that was an excuse potentially, and also carrying the top weight and a mighty run in that Group 3 as well. So even though he was beaten, they were two excellent runs.
I don't think he could have done much more in the Group 1, to be honest. We had that bit of rain affect the track, and he got jammed up by Victor the Winner on one side and the Japanese horse on the other. So he definitely didn't get it his own way. I've got no doubt if he had sort of circumstances where he got a bit more favour on speed, he would have been the one to beat, but nothing taken away from Invincible Sage, who was obviously really good on that rain-affected track. And then obviously he gave a good horse plenty of weight at the end of the season, and after he's probably towards the end of he was at the back of his season. So he wasn't beaten far, given 20 pounds. So look, I think he handled himself really well all season, and like I said, he seems to have come back well this time.
Yeah, massive ask, obviously, to give that sort of weight away. As for this race coming up, let's just touch upon his preparation. 2 trials, 2 trial wins. He put away some half-decent ones last time in his trial. I know it is only a trial, but he did it very well. Yeah,
happy with him. He's going well, so he's in good order, and that's all I can say about him.
As for the sort of the task at hand, obviously he'll be fully respectful of his rivals, and obviously there's a very smart one in there by the name of Ka Ying Rising and Invincible Sage in the race again. But I guess the way he's sort of looking and feeling, do you feel that he's more than capable of, giving them all something to think about?
Yeah, it's not an easy task for him to obviously run first up in this sort of grade and carry that big weight against, like you said, some up-and-coming horses. But I'd expect him to go there, he'll run well, and grand finals in what I suppose the December race.
Does he feel to you as good as he did last year? I mean, what he was able to do last year at Dubai and obviously here in Hong Kong as well, I mean, he was really at the top of his game.
Yeah, I don't think he's gone backwards. He's in good order, he's moving well, he's breathing well, he's pulling up clean. So I'm happy with how he is, and like I said, just looking forward to getting back on him on the weekend.
There's Brenton. Paul, what are your thoughts on California Spangle?
I like him. Look, he's had 4 starts fresh. He's won 3 of those. He's second. The other one, he's a really good fresh-up horse. He's got the form on the board. He's won the Group 1s. I mean, it's going to be a really good race between the established Group 1 horse like him and the up-and-comer like Ka Ying Rising. I think he can beat him.
And he obviously has to give away 20 pounds to some of the lightweight chances in the race as well, and be interested to see what sort of pressure he might get up front as well, with maybe a few of those other horses who are trapped wide that have to try and slot in somewhere.
Let's move on to some of the other runners, Tom. And we start with Packing Treadmill, who finishes 4th, Taj Dragon 2nd in this race. Pierre looking for 2 Group 2 wins in the space of 7 days. And what about Flying Ace coming back to the 1200?
Well, he's definitely not a 1400 metre horse, Flying Ace, but he needed a run last time, so he's coming into this second up. He's probably on his sort of mark at the moment, which is 106, but the lightweight's going to give it an opportunity back to a course and distance he thrives at. I haven't been, Paul, convinced by the form of Packing Treadmill. I'm not really sure where he's at the moment, and Taj Dragon ideally would like 7 furlongs, but in saying that, had won a couple of races over 1200 metres overseas prior to arriving.
Yeah, blinkers go on him, but look, I haven't got any of these.
OK, we'll move straight on, Paul, to this one, which is also a member of the Pierre Wrong stable, Beauty Waves. Group 3 winner last time, steps up to 1200. Invincible Sage, he's second up. And of course, as we've seen, talking about California Spangle, he's a Group 1 winner, beating Spangle last season.
Look, I like Beauty Waves in this race. I think he's going to run a bit of a race. He's getting the conditions of the race suit him. He's had a really good start to the season. That's second, and then the win as well. 1200 is no fears for me either. I think he's going to run well. And I expect California's Invincible Sage to improve quite a lot as well, because he'll get a really good run from 5.
He'd want to show a bit more improvement than he did there. Of course, he was first up with a big weight, but I was a bit concerned the way he didn't really run on in that race. Beauty Waves, he's obviously not too far out of the market with Ka Ying Rising 2 starts ago, but he's 7 pounds worse off with him this time round from when they last met.
That's those runners. On to some trial form now, Tom. Here's Taj Dragon, who's wide, and this Encountered ends up running 5th. It's a distance that he doesn't really know. He's only had one go over it. His better form is all over further.
Yeah, can't have him here at 1,200 metres, and health-wise I sort of wonder where he's at, because his last two performances, one of them he was eased down behind Beauty Joy, deemed unacceptable, and then behind Galaxy Patch over 1,600 metres found zilch in the straight. He's changed trainers, Paul. I don't know where he's at the moment.
Yeah, 1,200, this is obviously a stepping stone for something else.
Would you prefer Happy Valley too?
Yeah, maybe he runs well at Happy Valley, but he has run well at Sha Tin in the past.
All right. What about How Deep Is Your Love, Paul? He's on the comeback trail for the season. Couple of trials, Karis Teat and John Size. He gets a low draw.
Yeah, I don't think that's good for him at all, because he's got no early speed. He's going to be back on the inside, so that's why I didn't include him.
I sort of entertained him, but then just with maybe a few others in this race that are a little further forward than him. He hasn't won first up. He has placed up a couple of times. Nothing wrong with the trial, but in the end, just left him on the sideline for this.
And finally, Tom Helios Express, winner of 2 legs of the 4-year-old series. Down the track in the Derby, couple of trials. Yeah,
he settled a long way back, of course, in the Derby. He was probably a bit keen through those early and middle stages. Travelled up wide in this barrier trial, stayed on pretty nicely here, I thought, in it. Of course, wasn't too much pressure put on a few of the others here, including the winner, who looks a top chance on a Wednesday night. But also happy to watch him from the draw.
Yeah, like it's a stepping stone for him, I think, for something in the future. And John Size's horses are taking a run at the moment.
It's the Sprinter Showdown, as you can see behind you, Paul. Brenton's sledging Zach, it looks like, in that photo, and that might continue on the weekend.
Yeah, well, I've got one to beat too. I mean, I think this is going to be the Quinella, and we've got the established one, as I said, against the up-and-comer. But I'm just going to lean slightly towards California Spangle. But look, Ka Ying Rising goes on and wins. He's going to be in for a fantastic season, which I think he will anyway. So 1 to beat 2. Beauty Waves is the improver, and Invincible Sage, another Group 1 winner. 1, 2, 8, 3.
Yeah, I'll side with the Ka Ying Rising here. I think the 4-year-old can upstage a couple of the Group 1 winners in this race. So 2 Ka Ying Rising, 1 California Spangle. First up record's very good, loves course and distance. Beauty Waves obviously is worse off at the weights with Ka Ying Rising from when they met, but he's now a Group 3 winner. And Flying Ace back to 1,200 metres, his pet trip. 2, 1, 8 and 6.
It's going to be good. All the other races too on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for race-by-race analysis with Paul's selections. But speaking of your selections, Paul, what's your best?
Turin Star Spangle coming up in race 9. I was with him last time, and the reason I was with him was because in this race here, he stepped up to 1,600 metres for the first time. And that was the key for this horse. All he needed was a bit of distance, I thought. Now he's had this run under his belt. The stable's in really good form. Look, there was a bit of rain around here, but I don't think that mattered. I think it was more the distance rather than the track conditions. And he ran away and beat a nice field here quite nicely. So I think he can go on with it and win once again with Zach Purton aboard. So Turin Star Spangled the best. Long shot with blinkers on for the first time is a horse called California Moxie, drawn nicely in barrier 6 and up to 1,400 metres. Another one that goes up in trip. So that's why I've taken him. And the play of the day in race 6 with Curie Aladdin, Blazing Wind and Life of Stone as an improver, QQB.
I thought it was a difficult meeting to find a best on. Ballistic Win, race 3, number 1. He's got a £7 turnaround with Mastermind. Hopefully they're a bit more conservative with them than they have been in their last couple. Roman Crown in race 2, number 1. He's a 3-year-old. He's dropping in grade here, and here he is at Sha Tin last time out on the 1st of October behind Winning Gold. You can see here we've got a decent old squeeze up coming down towards the 300 metres. Lost some ground here, and then in the end got going, I thought, quite okay over the final stages. Karis Teaton's riding for Pierre Ung, so we keep an eye on him. Roman Crown taking the drop back in grade here, not really knocked around after that incident in at the home straight. And the play in the last, green and white resuming, King Miles second up, and Sky Trust coming up in grade.
Karma. Vincent Ho, 3 winners on Wednesday night. Rides for Casper Founds. Trials been good. 4-time winner. Stablemate Lucky Generations. 1 start down the track. 2 trials have looked good. Hugh Bowman rides him, and the play race 5. Patch of Theta, Stunning Peach and Karma in race number 5 in a QQP. That has been Sha Tin for Sunday. Looking at the diary about what is upcoming. No, those graphics are not incorrect, Tom. Sha Tin Wednesday and a day meeting at the Valley on Sunday week.
Yes, we have the Happy Valley annual day meeting. We've had 2 in the past, but only 1 this season. Of course, the first of the Dirt All Weather Night meeting. You've found one there already.
Yeah, we saw it in the replay there, that grey horse. Keep an eye on him, Talent's Ambition.
All right, we will indeed. That has been Racing to Win. We'll see you on Sunday at Sha Tin for the Sprinter Showdown.